Yeah. 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 James.
Does he have, does he want to say something?
She should.
Well, he is with the Indiana Rural Community Assistance Program. And I'm going to have him come up and tell us what they do.
When you do the PFAS survey, that would be when you want him to come up,
Oh,
because he's helping with that.
thank you.
I have Damon on there for superintendent report, but he's not gonna be here. I forgot to take that off. So you can mark off the second to the last agenda item.
Okay.
We're just gonna go over the USDA contract requirements. Page monitoring, labor, all that stuff. That's like. Whatever.
Okay, 2-minute warning. Council members, would you please turn your microphones on?
I missed that.
Carolyn, are we live yet? Okay, we are live, so. Hot mics. No more talking about each other. Yeah, good idea. You might want to put cell phones on vibrate.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a smartphone. Rarely gets phone calls. Flip phone. Yeah.
Okay, and we'll bang the gavel. Are you ready?
Thanks.
Okay. Okay, this August 12th meeting of the Westport Town Council is called to order. When we get public input, the 3-minute timer will be in effect. We are going to start with a pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We should.
Okay. My fellow board members had a chance to read the minutes from the July 8th meeting. That was the regular council meeting.
Yes.
I will entertain a motion then to approve the minutes as presented. Got a motion from Russell. Can I get a second?
I will second.
Second from Jenny. All those in affirm, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Thank you. Motion carried. We had a special session on July 26th. The minutes were really brief. The only purpose of that session was to open the community crossings bids for repaving Main Street and some sidewalks. All-Star Paving was the low bidder at $554,650.25. So here, within the next 4 to 6 weeks, you're going to start seeing some activity on Main Street on that. So Could I get a motion to approve the minutes of the special session on July 26th?
Make a motion.
Okay, got a motion by Glenn. Can I get a second?
Aye. I
Dolores?
second, sorry.
That's fine. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Okay, payroll adjustments, payroll vouchers, and monthly bills. Has everybody had a chance to take a look at that? That came in as an attachment to the email. I'll entertain a motion that we approve the adjustments, payroll vouchers, and monthly bills, please.
I'll make it.
Okay, Dolores, can I get a second?
I'll second.
Russell? All those in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Okay. I blew through all that, Gloria. How much of that do we have to sign?
A whole stack.
Gotta sign the minutes of both of those meetings. Regular meeting. Special session.
Read all that.
I'm sorry.
Duck, had to duck to not get hit.
Sure.
Yeah. That's a sloppy. Sloppy. After about 4, I guess sloppy.
I've still got the two ordinances down here. Rachel, it looks like you are next. I've got it here.
I'm sorry, I thought you said, thank you, bring it up.
Want to make sure we're giving people
Still signing, are you guys ready?
I think we're ready.
Okay, I don't have too much to update this time. Just a couple of upcoming days. The Indiana Bond Bank closing for the project, that's the interim financing from USDA. will be August 14th. That's all virtual, I believe. I don't think there's like an actual meeting for that. And then we have a pre-construction meeting scheduled for the 15th. The contractor has asked to move that time on the 15th to 2 p.m. So I think most people concurred that 2 was okay. I don't think we've heard back from Jody yet, but we're going to reach out to her. So that'll be where we actually sign contracts. The town signs the contract with the contractor. So we have all those documents. We got them to Alex. He's going to review them.
Will you be here for that, Alex?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is pretty common, if the attorney has time to review it ahead of time, they can pre-sign it, because there's just one certification for the attorney to sign. You're welcome to be there, but it sometimes can be a long, wordy meeting. Lots of, USDA will go through their requirements, and then there's the wage monitoring requirements and all that stuff. And then I put just a quick, on the front page of this, just a quick schedule. If contracts are signed on the 15th, potentially they could start construction anytime thereafter. Given the schedule we have, substantial and final completion would be October and November of next year. So basically that'll be the kickoff for the project. The second page of the memo, I just put some regulatory dates and updates. Happy to go into more detail about these. The only thing I guess at some point, Brian, I would like to set up a meeting maybe to talk through this last item on here, which the IFA SRF has some grant funds available. So I wanted to get together to talk about that and see if the town wanted to submit for those.
For the PFAS?
Yes.
And I think we've got James here from the Rural Community Assistance Program. We might be able to, are you familiar with the PFAS work?
Actually the expert in our office on that.
Okay. April 26, 2027.
So the grant that they have, the SRF, State Revolving Loan Fund, was able to secure grant money from the EPA on behalf of the Indiana communities that participated in the testing, and Westport participated in the testing. So you're eligible to submit to be a part of the grant for the pilot testing and the study, and basically all the preliminary design would be covered under this grant. And then there would be subsequent grant funds for whatever the project, whatever the resulting correction project would be. So I think the emails to the application was open through mid-September. We have about a month to figure out if the town wants to participate. It sounds like it right now is 100% grant. There's no matching required with this first portion of it. I can't speak for what's next, but it definitely sounds like something worth investigating.
What do you need from us in order to pursue that?
Either if you want to talk more about it, I'm happy to come. We can sit down and go through kind of the details of it, or I can just work with Gloria and Jay and put together the application and get it
What time
submitted.
can you be here Thursday for the pre-construction meeting?
I can probably be early. I have to check my schedule, but would Thursday potentially work?
Maybe at 1 o'clock?
Yeah.
There's a pre-construction.
I'll let you
meeting,
know
is it
for
2?
sure if that'll work. Yeah.
I'll see if I can get Jay down here.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great. That's kind of all I have right now. Probably a couple months from now, we'll be talking about construction stuff, hopefully. That's all I have.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the lead and copper survey. This is, who's best? Gloria, can you talk about that? Or Carolyn? You're going to be getting a lead and copper survey in your water bills.
Yeah,
the
and
next
we have
time they
a-
come out.
We have it out in the back too, if you picked up one when you came in. The state is requiring that we survey every home that we provide water to, water service. So we're, to document what kind of pipes I think that they have. We're trying to eliminate lead and plastics and stuff. So we are asking that you please fill out the survey. We have to have this done this year. I think there's an October deadline. I didn't grab a copy of that survey. Do you guys have a copy of it up here?
No. I looked at it with Jay, and I found it
Let me grab a
slightly
copy.
confusing.
Yeah, there is. Do you have that?
No, I didn't get one.
So the survey is going to ask you what type of service lines you have. Are they lead, copper, galvanized steel, polyethylene, or unknown? It also will ask you about the age of your pipes and a few other things. We have to identify every residence in Westport that we provide service to, and we have to go into a portal and enter that information for each address and identify exactly what lines they have. If they do not participate, we have to say that they have lead. In any home that has lead, then we're going to be required by EPA to go in and correct. And right now, we don't have funding for that, and they're not offering a suggestion of how we're going to fix that situation. They're just collecting the data. So our suggestion is to do our survey, unless you want us to knock on your door and come into your house and tell you what pipes you have.
Yeah,
So most people are going to want to do this.
now, I think there's going to be a fair amount, most of these questions, if you look at them, one of the possible answers is unknown. Basically, I don't know what my pipe is. I don't know what the material is. Will they get a knock on their door if they don't know?
Yes.
But we will identify ourselves. It'll be a town employee.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Okay.
that's where the funding is coming in. We talk a lot about the PFAS grant. Part of that is to cover someone coming to your home and identifying your pipes, because we're concerned that our employees are not going to have enough time to knock on everybody's door. Luckily, we are a small community, and the more people that we have participate in this survey and report on what their pipes are will help us to not have to go out and do that. But we are on a deadline, and it's very important that we know, because the government basically is requiring us to identify it. So that's what this is about. You'll see a lot of reports and testing and things coming down the pipeline. There's some reports on IDEM. There was a test. We participated in a pilot program last year, and it was identified that we do have PFAS in our system, and it hit the Indianapolis Star and was this big media thing. So people are concerned about it, and we are trying to address it. And the first step is to identify who has lead and who doesn't, and then we go from there.
So okay.
Carolyn said, yeah. We'll put 'em
Everybody
in
that
the-
gets a paper bill, they'll be coming out in the September bill,
Yeah.
this survey. And we'd ask that you take a look at it, check it, and
Please fill it
either
out.
mail it
and
back,
give
drop it
back
off
to
at the
us.
town hall.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you aren't in town limits and you do not receive water from Westport Water Company, you do not have to do this survey. It's only for our customers.
Okay. Outdoor burning guidelines. Jay Maddox asked me to say a few words about this. We're coming into the fall. Basically, outdoor burning, the only thing you're allowed to burn is brush, tree limbs, leaves, things of that sort. And you're only allowed to burn during daylight hours, not after dark. Now did I get that right, Gailey? Or am I pretty close? We're
Our
not into coming after your fire pits if you want to sit out and, roast weenies and chill and warm yourself on a chilly evening. We're not going there. You got a trash barrel and you're, burning your garbage and it's after dark. Yeah, you may, somebody may call the fire department and they may extinguish it. And I don't know that we've ever cited anybody, wrote a ticket for this, but Jay just wanted me to make sure we mention it. The only outdoor burning, it needs to be attended, it needs to be brush and natural stuff only, and only during daylight hours. You have anything else to add, Gail? Please help us out. Okay. 209 East Mulberry Street. This was the former site of, there was a beauty shop there, wasn't there?
Yeah.
It's right next to the old fire department, where the police department is now. It's just to the east, where that building was torn down. We are going to take steps to sell that property. We are in the process of getting 2 appraisals, and then we will probably end up taking sealed bids on the property to sell it. So just putting that out there. I know there's some contractors here in town that are interested, but it will be a sealed bid process. I don't know that we have a time frame for that, probably before the end of the year.
I think it very well could be for sale in the next week. Our next appraisal is tomorrow.
Okay?
Once we get those, we can go ahead and put it in the newspaper. We just have to publish at least 10 days before the next council meeting.
Okay.
So I think we very easily could get it in before the September.
Okay. Things are
council
moving
meeting.
faster than I knew. Okay. All right. The American Rescue Plan funds, we have an ordinance here. And I brought a copy. And this ordinance, this is the one that has to be passed in 2 readings. We got to do it this month and next month. So far, what we've got allocated of the American Rescue Plan funds, the community building flooring, we've allocated $30,000. The new sidewalks that you see out here, $35,140. We've got an estimate for 5 fire hydrants, $18,003, and then installations of 3 fire hydrants, $6,000. And that leaves us a balance of $53,813.78. That's what's on the in the
And
agenda.
6,000 per hydrant.
Yeah. So the ordinance here, whereas it's been determined it's now necessary to appropriate more money than was originally appropriated in the annual budget, therefore be it ordained by the town council of the town of Westport, Indiana, that for the expenses of the taxing unit, the following additional sums of money are hereby appropriated out of the funds named and for the purposes specified, subject to the laws governing the same. It's the ARP fund, 2401 American Rescue Plan, amount requested $112,957.48, and the amount approved by the council will be $112,957.48. And can I get a motion to pass this on first reading?
It has to go on 2 readings because it's financial.
So how do I phrase that, Alex, to be proper?
Yeah, you can,
I don't want to pass it on first reading. What do I want to say there? I want to vote on it, or?
so it wouldn't be that you would pass it on 1 reading, you would be passing it on first reading. Accomplishing those needs in the next week. Would recommend,
Okay. We can entertain some public comment on this if there is any. No? Okay, Sandy, come on up, please. We opened up the spacing between the rows of chairs. Hopefully they'll be a little bit easier to get around.
I just have a question. Not really. So you said 35,140 for the sidewalks. At the last town council meeting, it was like 33,000. It was 31,640 for the sidewalks and 1850 for the tree removal.
That includes total tree removal, which there was 2 additional trees. So there's 2 invoices for trees, and I think we only had one at the time.
Okay, so it's the 31,640 plus 1850, and then the other was just more tree removal?
Yeah.
Okay, that was just,
I think it was 2 more trees or a tree and a stump. I'm not for sure.
okay. Was curious.
Good catch, thank you. Anybody else? Okay, we'll close public comment. So what do we do with first reading on this, Alex?
Open it up to, one minute.
Okay, since we've had first reading and public comment, then I'll make the motion that we approve the first reading, not pass it, but it's got to come back next month. Can I get a second?
I will second.
Okay. All opposed, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All in favor?
There we go.
Freudian slip. All in favor? I've been in the garden for 3 hours today. My back is killing me. So, all those in favor of approving the first reading, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? There we go. It will come back next month. You want this back?
Sure.
The next one can be passed on first reading because it is a reduction, an ordinance for appropriation reduction for fiscal year 2024, whereas it's been shown that certain existing appropriations have now have unobligated balances that will not be needed for the purposes for which appropriated, therefore be it ordained by the Town Council of Westport, Decatur County, that the following existing appropriations be reduced in the following amounts. This is from the local roads and street funds, $5,000 to be basically returned to the budget, I guess. Is this as a result of the way the community crossings came in lower than anticipated, or is this something else?
This is separate.
Okay.
We had budgeted 20,000 for sidewalks potentially this year out of local road and street, which was at the high end of the local road and street budget that was available. Because we used ARP funding and
Okay.
the other qualified for the community crossing,
Okay.
we haven't had to use that fund. So
Okay.
it was suggested to go ahead and reduce it to make the budgeting easier for next year. So
Got it.
That goes to the general fund or?
no, it's the local road and street fund, which is tax dollars specifically earmarked for road upkeep, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay, so I will entertain a motion that we approve this on the first reading here. So moved. Can I get a second? Russell?
I think I beat him.
Okay. Glenn made the motion. Got a second from Russell. All those please in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Thank you. Motion carried.
Mr. President, was that to set aside the requirement for second reading and pass it on one reading?
It was my understanding that we didn't need,
Right. Yeah, because it's not a public, don't have to publish that one.
signatures required here. Westport zoning expectations is the next item on the agenda. And we've had, I think it was last month, the folks out at Pine Lake, they're building some kind of a, I don't know if it's more storage units or what, but they went straight to the county. They didn't talk to us. They basically, when they were digging, busted a water main out there at Pine Lake. The way we work with the zoning, a lot of times the area plan or Krista, the area plan director, if you go into her office, will send you back to Westport, especially if you are in Westport corporate limits, to get a letter or something indicating that the town council has seen the project. So we just would ask if you're doing anything, room additions, new construction, they're probably going to send you back to us. If it's a no-brainer, there's no variances or anything like that, or it's not, a new subdivision or something like that, that needs to come before the whole board. I think the Bollingers on my street on Westwood Drive, they are putting an addition on the back of their house. The addition isn't going to require any variances on the west side, east side. On the north side, I think, how many feet do they need? Two additional feet? Yeah, they need 2 additional feet. I'm going to go ahead and give them a letter that we've looked at it, and we as a town have no problem with that. I don't know if you guys shook hands or not.
I'm gonna say, I'm very upset about why there's no deal with that.
Well, I think area plan will probably, before they grant the variance, will send the letters. That's a formal, give you a heads up. Yeah. Yeah.
Driving through our yard to get to the backyard, and I was responsible for that.
Yeah, it was a little unsettling. But for something like that, I'm gonna give them the letter stating that the town has no issue with it, that they need to go ahead and follow their own process for approving variances, and that's what triggers the letters to all the adjoining property owners. So, but please come and talk to us, especially if it's a big project, so we can make sure that you're not gonna. And I guess calling Holy Moly wasn't good enough, because they still out at Pine Lake still drilled into a water main.
Did they call? I thought the issue was they didn't call. But
Maybe
I'm
that
not
was
sure.
it. Maybe that was it. Anyway, so enough on that. Yes.
I would recommend
Okay. I've looked at the plans and they're still, on the north end, the property line needs an 8-foot setback and they're going down to a 6-foot setback. And then I forget how big the family room or whatever it is are adding to the back, but there's no variances needed for them to do that. So can I have a motion to allow me to approve the work at Bollinger's? Dolores?
I'll make that
Can I have a
motion.
second? Second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Okay, it's in the minutes now. Thank you, Alex.
Brian, now, didn't Damon want us to say something about if you were putting even a non-permanent shed, building a fence, doing anything that you be aware of the easement issues and make sure that you are not on the easement property? So
Yeah.
what,
Fences and sheds, if a shed is on a runner, it doesn't need a permit, but it would be nice if we knew about it. It's not required that you talk to us, but if you do set a shed on an easement and we need to get into a water line or a sewer line, was it Fromer's over here? That we had to take a portion of their fence down because there was a clog that we had to dig up. We can help determine where all those easements are. So yes, that's another aspect of this. All right. Animal nuisance. We've had some talk about our animal ordinance. We've been talking with animal control in Greensburg. Dolores, you want to say anything?
well, we found out that we've been told that we will no longer receive, they will no longer, Decatur County Animal Control will no longer come to Westport on a dog issue. According to some situations that we are an incorporated town and we have a dog ordinance, that means we should have our own dog ordinance and we should have, dog catcher, and that we should take care of our own problem here. So, with that being said, I went up and talked to Mindy Myers, who is the director of the Decatur County Animal Control in Greensburg. I filled out a form to come to their meeting tomorrow night in Greensburg to discuss this. I don't know how much discussing I'm going to do because I just want some information on what we're supposed to do. We don't have the money to hire a dog catcher. Decatur County taxes pays for half of the shelter and Greensburg City taxes pays for half. So I don't know where Westport comes in there. I'm not real sure. But I am going to this meeting tomorrow night. I hope, partner in crime here. We are going, and Laura Whitcomb's going with me. We're going up there tomorrow night to see what's going on, find out a little bit more information about it. So, yeah, I roped her into it, Barb. Sorry. I did. But anyway, so that's kind of where we are right now. If you got a dog problem, don't call Decatur County Dog. They won't come. They say that 90% of their dog issues in the county comes from Westport. 90% of them. So, and I said, well, it was probably because I called 20 times on one dog. We don't know. We don't know where. I'd like to see all that, myself, but I guess not. So.
There's a little bit of common sense that we're going to have to apply with this, I think. This was an issue when I was on the board previously. We had a kennel down at the police department where people could drop off dogs. Our officers are not real thrilled about doing dog catcher duties, and I understand that. That's not their primary mission, especially if it's not an aggressive dog, if it's just one running loose. Is that a real good use of an officer's time to chase them? I see both sides of that story, but Mindy did tell me that if we could get the dogs captured on a leash, in a kennel, in a cage, in a pen of some kind, that they would come down and get them. So their time is spent coming from Greensburg to where the animal is isolated, and then they take it back to Greensburg. But that requires somebody to actually chase them, catch them, the little lasso that you can put around their neck, one of those. If we do get a kennel back down at the police department, it's got to be watched, manned, there has to be food and water. It kind of opens a bit of a can of worms. And we don't have a written process on how to take care of that yet. That may be where we move to, but we're kind of on the front end of this. The other thing that's changing at the end of the year, we're getting 2 new commissioners. Mark Kors is gone, and Tony Blodgett will no longer be commissioners. We have to wait for the November election, but on the Republican ticket, we've got Gabe Nobby, and who is the other one? Anybody know? Who? Brian Winning, I think. Yeah, thank you. So there's going to be some leadership at the county level turnover. So I don't see an immediate resolution to this before the end of the year. If anything we do, may end up getting changed after the first of the year with 2 new commissioners. But between the board, our board, the Animal Control Office, and the new commissioners, we need to come up with a process that will work for our officers, that will work for the animal control in Greensburg, and that the commissioners can be happy with as well.
I helped Joe and the dog catcher guy, county dog catcher, or whatever he was. He was down here and they were pursuing a little gray and white pit bull mix. And she wasn't vicious or aggressive or anything. She's very timid. And we spent an hour and a half trying to talk her into something. It never materialized. So I understand where they're coming from as only having one county officer to handle things. I understand where he doesn't have time to come down here and spend an hour and a half or 2 hours chasing a dog, but I don't know what the happy medium is. I don't know where it's going to begin. So I just don't want to see anybody get hurt. That's my, problem.
There are some private citizens that have offered to help.
But there's legal legalities.
Right.
With that.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway,
Um,
stay tuned.
Yeah.
This is a kind of an evergreen issue. Does anybody out there, this is dangerous, think that we have a serious dog problem in Westport? Most pet owners that I've seen are pretty responsible in general.
Depends on what
But-
neighborhood you're in.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay,
right
I can believe
before-
that.
Before Carolyn got here, there were 2 big dogs on her deck at her house, and she's got 2 little kids. I don't know if they're vicious or not, but they're just roaming around.
Yeah.
And on any given day, I can walk out my backyard and there's a dog in my backyard.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're vicious. I'm not saying they are, and I don't have kids, so I'm not as worried. But if you do have kids, is that a risk? How hungry are they? We had Mr. Wyatt's dog that was, or not Wyatt, Young, who was roaming around when he was in jail, and he was vicious, and he tried to go into people's houses and attack them. We had him go into a house here on West Street, and they called the police. There is a dispatcher report on that one. That was like maybe a month ago that happened. And then there was one over here on Lincoln Street where he tried to get in their house. So we do have some issues.
So we've not heard the last of this. It's on the radar is the point. And we're going to try to engage the animal control folks. Jenny and Dolores are going to go to their meeting. So hopefully we'll have something to report next month. Okay. Do we have an adjustment for Paco's?
Yes.
Do we know what it's going to be? Paco's has asked for a water adjustment. They did a car wash.
It ended up not being a whole lot. We realized they didn't quite qualify for what our general leaks are, and it doesn't fit under our ordinance because it's a special circumstance. It
Okay.
was due to the fundraiser car wash. that they did.
$63.39 of
Yeah.
credit?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they went back to the first of the year and looked at their average usage, and then we looked for the spike for the car wash, and they were able to come up with $63.39 of an adjustment for the sewer portion. Okay? I'll entertain a motion that we give Paco's a $63.39 adjustment on their sewer. Russell made the motion. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? I forget who it
It was
was.
a young man or an individual that's going through something in the community, but I didn't know him.
He was in the ATV accident and was in the ICU for a long time. He was a senior, and his name escapes me. I can't remember his name.
I didn't know him.
All right. That brings us to the end of our agenda. So we can open it up to public comment at this point. I talked to Mike Bartlett today. Mike, would you like to come up? Please. The floor recognizes you for 3 minutes, sir.
Hey, I'm on here tonight on behalf of the Westport Christian Church. We're going to tear down or remove our old white barn that's been in the community for years. It's not in use. It's not usable for us or anything. We're going to tear that down and replace it with a new building that will provide our food storage and a distribution for our food pantry giveaway. Currently, like tonight, we do it currently on Monday evenings. Tonight, I think we did like 90, was it 91? 91 families that we helped tonight. And we're not advertising it. We know that when we get the new building in and we advertise, we expect it to be about 200 families a week. And so I'm here tonight to ask about closing the part of the alley that's located between our current barn and Mary Lou Glover's barn. There on the alley, it would be just south of Mulberry Street. And you can see it up there where Brian's got his little cursor going. And we're going to tear that building down. Actually, both of those buildings, ours and Mary Lou's, are coming down the same week. And we would like to close that alley part of the way where Brian's arrow is up to Mulberry Street for that week, and that week only. Part of the reason is there's power lines and other lines that's run south of those buildings, and the gentleman that's removing the buildings have asked me to come and request about having that alley closed.
It's just temporary for
Yeah.
five working days.
Yeah,
I assume,
something like
Monday
that.
through Friday.
Weather permitting, hopefully he thinks he'll have it done in 2 days, but we all know how that goes, right?
What's the date on that?
It'd be the week of the 26th, August 26th. So whether he'll start on that Monday or he'll start on that Tuesday, I'm not for sure, but that's the week it's scheduled to come on down.
Yeah, do we need a motion on this, Alex? Okay. Okay, Russell makes a motion. This is to close the alley between Mulberry and Main.
Mhm.
Basically, it's from the halfway point to Mulberry. So here's one of the buildings, and then here's Mary Lou Glover's property right here, I think.
Yep.
Yep. And both of those barns are going to come down. I think that's a reasonable request. Russell made a motion. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Jenny? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Glenn, you could come over, Glenn, and
All opposed.
bless it for us if you don't mind.
I've
Okay.
seen you start construction today.
We're waiting to hear back from the state. Everything's been approved from the state. We're just waiting on that letter saying go. So hopefully within the next couple of weeks, we'll be tearing up that nice parking lot that we put in. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Jeannie, come on up.
Yeah, I wanted to come to the town in regards to some zoning changes. The first one being on Kentucky Avenue, that's still not showing zoned residential from agriculture. That's what we have been working on with the town and the zoning board in Greensburg. That would be the first ask if you have any issues with that.
Are you going for R2, which is what all the adjoining property is?
I just know that it's residential. I don't know specific.
There's R1, R2, R3, and R4. Sandy, do you know? What the,
R4, because that would be multi-family.
right.
So I believe he's just going to zone it for single family house.
If we put this in the form of a motion, it would say, we would have to say R2.
Okay.
If that's okay.
I thought when we passed the ordinance in order to put the sidewalks, I just assumed that that was also part of the zoning, but evidently it's not.
It wasn't called out specifically. She's correct. So,
And that's why it has to be fixed. It's done
yeah.
right.
If you need a motion,
We-
I'll make the.
Okay, we can put it in the minutes. So the first 6 lots of the Royce subdivision here that we gave a waiver on sidewalks, we now have a motion to go ahead and approve the rezoning of that part of land to R2, so it can be actually turned into lots. Okay, got a motion? Can I have a second?
I second.
Second? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay,
Thank you. The second one would be on Highway 3, 800 Highway 3, to be zoned from agricultural to commercial. Business, business.
that is the old Bud Cunningham
Correct.
property.
Mhm.
It's between what we know as the Briarwood Trailer Court and the Methodist Church.
Yeah, I know where it is, yeah.
Okay. And I forget what the principal permitted uses are for, are you going to go for B2 like what the Methodist Church is? Can you share what the intent is for that after
Yes, it's going to
rezoning for
be a
business?
storage facility.
Storage facility?
Mhm.
The storage.
Mhm.
I could look it up, but that would take a little bit of time to see what, let's see, storage facilities we have out Pine Lake.
You mean like storage units?
One building of storage units.
Okay.
It'll be fenced in and landscaped and everything.
Looks like the storage units at Pine Lake are B2. If I'm reading this correctly. So let's go ahead and do that. If it needs to be something different, come back and we can change it, but that seems to make the most sense.
I so move.
Okay, I got a motion. Let's see if we can get an address on that.
It's 800. 800. State Road 3.
800 North State Road 3, 7.28 acres. We have a motion to approve the rezoning, the request for rezoning to the area plan for B2. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Jenny? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Before you leave, I have a question. The limestone that we removed for the sidewalks here,
Okay.
we have a list of people that are asking for those. And it's my understanding that Roy may have picked up a few of those already. Are
Not
you?
that I'm aware of.
Not that you're aware.
Not seen them.
Okay. There are several that are missing. We're trying to figure out where they're at. You guys were allocated 2. And anything more than that, they need to be returned if indeed Roy has more than 2, but we don't know for sure. Would you mind checking?
Yeah.
We have a list, I'm guessing 10, 15 people in town.
I know there's quite a few
They
of
kept them in order, first come, first serve. And we saw somebody with a Bobcat and a dump truck loading them up the week that Damon was gone.
Oh, we don't have a Bobcat, so.
No, I said Bobcat, front end
Or,
loader,
kids loading.
skid loader.
I don't know anything about
Okay.
that. But I will find out. You'll be in the office tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, thank you much. All right, anybody else? Yes, sir. You are Mr. Snyder, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
I received a lovely little bill from you guys, and I want to prove that what I'm being billed for was cleaned up before the date of the bill. I have an invoice of the company I hired to clean it up because at the time I had it cleaned up, I was in an auto accident.
you're over on Elizabeth
Yep.
Street. Which one are you?
209.
There you are, 209. Um,
You guys have sent me a bill last month, and this was cleaned up April 2nd. There was a washer machine out there. It was out there as of June the 10th, when the new one was purchased from Lowe's Depot.
And I just drove by today, and there is another washing machine on
There's
on a trailer.
Yeah. It's on the trailer. I'm gonna haul it off, but it's a front loader. It's not the one that's in the picture that I was sent.
You're going to show us an invoice on your phone?
Yep.
Could we get a hard copy of that?
Yeah, I can
For-
send it to whoever.
I would like a copy of it. I can give you my email. So do you know what is your total bill right now in terms of
You said it
fines?
was $1,400 and some dollars, but as of April 2nd, the previous whatever that supposedly is on there was cleaned up. Because March 31st, I was in an accident. That's why April 2nd, I hired him to come clean it up. Easter Sunday, I was hit by Comcast.
Ouch.
Hired them knowing that before what went on, getting it straightened out. So I hired them to come and clean it up. We need their appliance.
Okay, when will when will that trailer that's got stuff on it be removed? Okay,
Tomorrow.
well, I am not prepared to forgive anything right now. We will look at your invoice in the office hours tomorrow. And maybe we can get you to come back.
Stating that I received a letter March 25th, April 2nd, it was cleaned up. Vehicles, red truck was, in the picture that you guys sent me, was out by the road. It's no longer by the road and it's cleaned out and it's sitting back by my garage. It's been moved since the 26th.
Okay, we'll take a look at it.
Okay.
Anyone else? Yes, Brian. Oh, yeah. James, we'll get you to come up so you can introduce yourself. Thank you.
I would
Yes, sir.
like to see if there's any way we could get some more police presence on West Street, down there at West and Washington. I know that it's been a major detour for the highway traffic down through there. You know, we try to ride the bikes with the grandkids and stuff. It's like pulling out on the 465 down there in the evening, especially early mornings. They're running 60 mile an hour plus on that road. It's a 30 mile an hour zone. You know, maybe if they just had a little presence down there.
It's limited
For a short
visibility
time,
too.
that would get people's attention to maybe slow them down.
I don't think that's unreasonable. Gloria, just capture
I mean,
that.
something needs to be done because it's
And,
just getting out of
We'll
hand down there.
talk to Joe and Luke, see what we can do.
I mean, it was tough pulling out of there in a car, but they've since cut some of the trees back in the foliage. They've sprayed down there.
Yeah,
so
the
that's
sight
helped
the
a
sight
lot,
lines
but-
there are always a challenge.
But maybe if we could get the guys to work that area a little bit, you know, being the highway's closed, or, you know, that ought to free up a little bit of their time.
You have a son that has a driveway.
Yes, and.
Could we
and-
use his?
Yes, because he's not there during the week. He's only home on the weekends,
Okay.
so they could use that driveway at any time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Sam or James, you want to come up and introduce yourself? James, pronounce your last name?
Kubis, just don't pronounce the Z and you're fine.
Okay, Kubis.
I'm James Kubis. I'm with the Indiana Rural Community Assistance Partnership. And we're a completely free nationwide organization that helps rural communities such as yourself with your drinking water, wastewater, and even stormwater needs. We do everything. We work with IFA, EPA, USDA for grant funding. We also help you as a board if you have any problems with that, with board formulation, board training, and things of that nature. And all our services are completely free. We came in here working with your drinking water superintendent, Mark, on compliance issues, which to my knowledge are pretty much resolved right now. I'm going to be making a separate appointment with him to figure that all out. But we also can help you with your wastewater needs as well.
Okay. It's nice to meet you. Thank you
Nice
for
to meet
coming.
you.
Somebody else with a name tag.
Hi,
Introduce
yes.
yourself, please.
My name is Catherine Neese, and I work with the Purdue Extension Office in Decatur County, as well as Rush and Shelby. I just started mid-April, so I wanted to swing by Westport, introduce myself.
What's your first name again?
My name's Catherine.
Catherine.
Yes. I'm originally from Greensburg. My husband's more from this area. He went to South Decatur. But what we do at the Extension Office, we have our educators. So we have Health and Human Sciences, 4-H, and then also Ag and Natural Resources. So those are the typical positions that you may be familiar with. But we also have a nutrition education program, and we're funded through SNAP-Ed. So we don't receive any county money. All of our money comes in through a grant through Purdue, which they receive from the federal government. And we have 5 focus areas, which are nutrition, physical activity, food security, food safety, and food resource management. So within that, we have a couple different things we do. We can do some free nutrition classes of all ages, 3rd grade and up, all the way up until seniors. And then we can also work on community projects such as community gardens, helping with grant funding for food security projects. I know I've talked a little bit to Mike Bartlett about their pantry and everything. So it's pretty wide what we can work on, but wanted to come and introduce myself and see what was going on. So thank you.
Nice to meet you. Your last name is Neese?
Niece. Yes.
Who's your husband?
Seth Niece.
Okay.
Yeah.
Plays golf.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Got it. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you. All right. We are right at 1 hour. Sandy, come on up.
Just had a question, just curious. Like, I know you guys accept sealed bids for things. You mentioned you were going to do sealed bids for the lot. You had sealed bids for the paving. Why aren't they opened like in the town council meeting?
For the community crossings, the timetable did not permit us to open it in this meeting. We had to get it done prior.
Okay.
The special
makes sense,
session that
okay.
we called was advertised properly. It was public.
Right,
Anybody
yeah,
could
I'm not
come,
disputing that.
But it was because of the timeline is the reason that wasn't.
The due date was before this meeting.
We had to get all the ducks in a row, the contract signed, all that stuff done. Did the engineer let the dates get ahead of him? I don't know.
Okay, well,
It would have been nice.
it wasn't specifically for that project, but like you mentioned, you're going to accept sealed bids for the land on Mulberry Street. Is that something that you're going to open in a
That would
town
be our
council
intent
meeting?
to do that in here.
Okay,
Absolutely.
that was just I thought maybe it was a time issue, but just kind of wanted to know what your plans are for the future with sealed bids, whether to sell things or purchase things
Yeah,
or
when
whatever.
at all possible, we want to do it in here.
I mean, it makes sense. You already have a meeting. Why schedule a second meeting for everybody?
Amen.
And then I know on the agenda, I'll just bring it up, but pickleball was listed on the agenda and nobody ever talked about it. So just
Was it
kind of
still
didn't
on?
know.
Yeah, it's still.
So that was
We
just,
did get 2 estimates, but like, speaking, it's going to be a bid type thing, because of the
Yeah.
expense of it.
okay. Well, I just noticed it was on the agenda and it wasn't brought
The
up.
bids
so.
that we got weren't sealed, but we are not going to peddle them. We've got to get some more. And it would be our intent to open those in a public meeting here. Okay? Oh, yeah, it was a sub item to that ordinance 2024-3. All right. Anything else? We are right at 1 hour. Not too bad. Going once, going twice. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Do this.
Oh, Glenn might want to keep going.
You want to keep going?
Yeah, I'm opposed to adjourning.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
All right. Can you turn that into a second on the motion to adjourn
Yeah,
then?
I'll second.
All right, thank you. We have a motion on the floor to adjourn. We have a second. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Thank you. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.